Everyone says how horrible it will be to renovate or build your house. We're here to say it doesn't have to be that way. Join 3 seasoned architects as they interview homeowners who recently completed a large project and ask them one simple question. What do you know now that you wish you knew before you started? Welcome to Home, the Second Story podcast.
Hi, and welcome to a snack size episode of Home, the Second Story. I'm Taylor Davis from Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Sherry Scott from Cincinnati.
And Marilyn Modinger from Lancaster, Pennsylvania and Boston, Massachusetts.
The subject of today's episode is floors and flooring selections and all of the different fun things that you can do with flooring and what makes some flooring choices more appropriate for some situations and other flooring choices more appropriate for others. Go.
Well, I'm going to start off with my hot take on flooring. You shouldn't do tile in a kitchen. Hot take. Tile flooring in a kitchen. Just don't do it.
That's a big opening there, Marilyn.
You've
I'm
certainly
just trying
taken a position.
Shall we unpack that?
Well, tile in a kitchen is because it's hard surface. Like it's not comfy to stand on.
How many choices do you have for a kitchen? What do you do? Wood? Always?
Just wood.
Always.
Yeah. I mean, I've done some tile.
We don't always do wood, but we do wood most of the time, I'd say.
And we haven't done tile in a long time just because of style.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big part of it. It used to be a big thing. So it's less of a hot take now than it used to be.
Yeah, don't be afraid of wood in a kitchen. People are so worried about it.
So afraid of it.
So afraid. And I'm like, you know what I always say? First of all, I do wood in bathrooms all the time.
Yep.
And second of all, I always say, you know, like what they used to build ships out of for millennia? Literal ships that sail on the ocean made of wood. You just have to protect the wood and take care of it, and it will literally be submerged for sailing around the world. So yes, you can have where like 2 drops of water fall on it.
Hey, I'm going to push back a little on the tile from an aesthetic perspective, though, because I've got this kind of dream of my own Mediterranean kitchen with like a pretty saltillo tile on the floor that would be just lovely. I grant you it's going to require me some like Hoka tennis shoes to work on it effectively for a significant period of time. Like you can't do that in heels, but like from a practical perspective, yes, there are some aesthetic choices that one can make.
Oh yeah. I mean, look where I'm working. I'm in the mid-Atlantic in New England. It doesn't make sense to do tile floors. But if someone commissions me to do a condo in Rome, like it's going to have hard floor. It's going to have terrazzo floors, right? Like context is important.
Yeah. The other thing with tile is grout. So if you really cook, then having grout in your kitchen is probably a bad idea.
So we recently did a kitchen where we did do a terrazzo tile. And one of the reasons we did it was because the kitchen was already built on a slab, and that can present some hardwood choices that you have to make. It can limit your selections, but also because our client, whom I adore, was very clear about the fact that she uses a steam mop twice a day. Now, hardwood floors can take a steam mop twice a day. May require something a little more durable.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
We wanted to make sure that tile stuck to it. And there are some large format tiles that you can reduce the amount of grout so that makes a difference. And if you are a steamer, this is why it's important to know your own like habits.
That's right.
If you're a steamer, you may want to consider tile or stone or something in your kitchen, because that could impact your hardwoods to a certain extent, and your subfloor. So that's something we ought to talk about too. So subfloor, especially if you're working in a renovation or an addition, you may have some existing conditions that you have to deal with that make different flooring choices more compatible than others. Uneven floors, concrete slabs, how far apart is the structure? So there's all sorts of things. So let's talk a little bit about what are some of the things that might dictate your choices other than wanting a pretty saltillo tile in your Mediterranean kitchen.
We do ground up work. So we typically, we design the structure knowing what the flooring choice is going to be. Specifically large format tile these days. We have to make the floor more stiff.
Yes.
And I've kind of lost track. I'm not in all the detailing stage anymore, but we don't do a hard surface underlayment for tile on new builds. We just enhance the structure and then put tile floors right on subfloor. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do that. And obviously, renovations are different. But if the owner really wants to do a large format tile or tile of any kind, we will rebuild the floor. Like we'll rip out the old floor and rebuild it because that tile will crack so fast that it's just
Yeah.
not even. So sometimes we actually put like a separation layer that allows the tile to move separately from the
A
structures.
crack isolation membrane.
Yes, exactly. So you have to separate it so that the movement is happening, and so you don't get it doesn't crack. But also one of our tricks is to use mosaic tile because it's on a mat and it can like take some of that unevenness.
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
lot more
sure.
forgiving than like a big
Mhm.
chunk that will rock a lot. So
Mhm.
when we can't exactly plumb and true everything and square everything up, which is often in these old weird houses, then that's one thing that we do. But yeah, absolutely. Like it's way better to build from a substrate that you know than trying to put it over something you don't know what it is.
And I'll add one more thing to that, which is if you are dealing with a slab and you're trying to match a floor level and you've got hardwoods and an adjacent level, this happens to us sometimes, and have to put it on top of a slab. There are some ways to do that depending on where the slab is, but generally we want to do an engineered hardwood on top of a slab because it's much more moisture resistant and it will
Yes.
not cup, and it's made to do that.
It's
And
more
there are lots of
stable.
different it's much more dimensionally stable. So, and there are lots of different, you can go on any website and see lots of different options for those, and some are pre-finished. We actually do a lot of site finished engineered hardwoods on top of
Yep.
slabs. We do that a
We do
lot.
those.
What exists in your house may have a significant impact on what your flooring choices are and what it's going to take, or what it's going to take to get what you want.
Yeah. And I think engineered is one of the ways to help people get if they're looking for more exotic species or wider boards, like engineered is going to be the way to go. You can get wider boards that aren't, imagine trying to get like 12-inch cherry boards, like you can, but the cost would be so crazy. But one thing I'll say about engineered wood floors is that you need to make sure that it has enough of a wear layer. So when you buy
Yes.
cheap engineered wood flooring, it has a very thin wear layer. You can basically sneeze on it and it'll scratch and you'll see the plywood below that. You also can't sand it and refinish it. So I like to make sure that it's got, I'd like to see 6 millimeters if possible. They usually often do it in millimeters. I don't know. So I'd like to see at least be able to get 2 sandings out of it. And that's something that people are like, what's the difference between this $1.50 a foot
Yes.
wood and this that's $5? It looks the same. And I'm like, it is not the same. And that's one of
you
the
get what
big
you
areas.
pay for in that instance.
Always.
It really is.
Always.
And
Yeah.
how annoying is it to replace flooring? Like that is something you do not want to replace.
I know. It's hard. It's very hard to do well.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say about hardwoods is that we can now do lots of different underlayments under hardwoods depending on the conditions. And since we do lots of aging in place work, we've actually done some work for clients who are prone to falls because they may have Parkinson's or something like that. So there's a double-edged sword. We don't want area rugs where people can trip, and carpets are
Right.
really hard to put wheelchairs on a lot of the
Yep.
time. So hardwoods are a lot easier to navigate, but if you fall on hardwood or tile, you don't necessarily bounce. You got to have some absorption. So we're beginning to see in the marketplace, and it's really exciting. There's a couple of different products out there, but some cork underlayments that increase kind of the give underneath a hardwood floor, particularly an engineered wood floor. They sprung out of people making gym floors. So that's where that whole market has gone. And the other thing that I think is pretty cool is there's some new flooring underlayments that are coming from the senior living industry that are designed particularly for falls in a commercial setting. And they're beginning to be able to be used in single family residential too. So if that's something that you're dealing with and you've got some mobility issues, or some gate issues, or you've got someone in your home that's prone to falling, you may want to think about what you're putting underneath your floors that may help deal with some of the, the hardness of those falls.
I love that, Taylor. That's new to me.
Are you guys doing carpet at all? Is anyone asking for carpet?
No,
No,
only
we
Yeah.
if
don't
we're
do it
trying
ever.
to save some money in some back bedrooms, maybe, but we haven't done that for a while.
We do carpet sometimes. A lot of times we're doing it on stairs that are slippery. And if we want to get some carpet in there to sort of increase traction, we do that a lot of times.
Or carpet runners. We do
Carpet
that.
runners. Sometimes
Yeah.
we're doing it in basements, and we'll do a lot of those floor tiles, carpet tiles, so that if something gets wet or a kid spills something on it, we can pull it up and replace it. And we're only replacing one and not the whole kit and caboodle. Entry halls is a place where lots of people do something different in their floors, whether it's stone or tile or something different. Some people are incorporating like walk-off mats into some of their mud rooms and sort of entry spaces so that those can be kind of recessed and it's not a tripping hazard, so that you walk directly onto whatever that surface is. So you can recess things into the floor that will help, clean your shoes as you come in, that sort of stuff.
Can we talk about our love-hate relationship with vinyl flooring, LVP?
You mean mostly hate?
I have it in my basement, and in my basement, it's fine.
I know, but it's like plastic. I don't want to walk on plastic.
It is plastic, and it feels like plastic on your feet, but it is a great price point. It does look fine. It does not look like wood to me. You're not tricking anybody that it's a beautiful wood floor that has 8-inch wide planks, right? I think that there's a place for it. I don't know that it's always in the basement. Basement's a great solution. And well, that's why I brought it up, because I am so conflicted about it. Of course, I would not put it in a main space in a multi-million-dollar ground up construction, but there are some places for it. And honestly, the people that we're talking to right now, 80% of them probably have it somewhere in their home. So I wondered what you guys thought of it. I think it's getting better.
Yeah, I don't want plastic. It's not for me. And I just won't do it. I just can't. It's like a hard. So in basements or spaces where people have wanted to do it, what we've just done is polish the concrete slab, and it's gorgeous. Like, you don't have to glue plastic down. So I think for me, I do a lot of historic work. I do a lot of healthy building type stuff, and just kind of coming in and gluing down plastic is just, it's not going to happen. So I know it's a great price point, and I really struggle with that part of it. What I'm saying now is not about an elitist standpoint at all. We don't work. Most of our renovations are not multi-million. They're not even $1 million. But at the same time, like, it's just, especially when hardwood isn't that insanely expensive. Like, we do a lot of strip oak, finish in place, very simple. It wears forever, and you're not walking on plastic.
Well, I disagree that it wears forever. Vinyl flooring wears forever, the LVP.
No, it doesn't. As soon as you scratch that stuff, it's like you can't repair it.
I will say, I've been living with it for over 12 years.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's got treadmill, it's got a bike, it's got kettlebells, it's had a pool table, it's had 3 kids' Legos, it's had water, it's flooded, like, it's had basement toiletry that has gone awry thanks to lots of children using the toilet incorrectly. So the best part about it for us was that I wasn't worried about mold. I wasn't worried that the damage would impact anything terrible in the rest of the house. It's in a very limited space. It has been there 10 years. It really hasn't scratched. It's easy to clean. And I can replace the planks that I need to replace. Now, that said, there are some alternatives out there. There's some linoleum products, which are much more environmentally friendly.
Linoleum. Yes. Thank you.
That are very similar, that you can use in a very similar way, that also is not prone to water damage. And that's a really good product if you are thinking about sort of a sustainability perspective. That's not a bad one to look at. Marmoleum, I think, is one of the brands that does that.
Yep, we use it all the time.
I don't necessarily think that it doesn't last forever. Ours has lasted forever, thank heavens, because I don't want to pay for doing it again. And we also had an issue. This is another thing. In some homes, you will find that there are some hazardous substances that were incorporated into the mastic or into the old flooring of an existing house. And pulling that up and
Yes.
grinding
The A
down
word.
to concrete, the A word, disturbing any of that is a
Asbestos.
very, very bad idea.
But you can put wood on top of that. I just want
You
our
can-
listeners to know the only way to encapsulate asbestos is not vinyl. You can do
No,
many,
I'm
many
just
things.
saying
Sure.
it's a good
For sure.
option. Like instead of, it is an option that you can put on top of it. Yeah, it's not the only way to do it for sure, but it is one thing that's easy to do is to get on top of it. So I'm a situational person. I'm less like hard and fast rules about certain things. So I'm not going to put it in somebody's kitchen. If somebody's got a basement and 2 dogs and cats and is throwing weights around on something, let's talk about it. Maybe it's a viable option.
Yeah, I think it's situational. And in all honesty, we put it in our house not too long ago. Total disaster. I hate it. I hate it every single day. And I would never put it in my own personal house. It was installed incorrectly. Of all the people to have it be installed incorrectly while I'm watching them, it every single morning, I hate it. So there are rules, to make it better than worse. And like I introduced it, it's a love-hate relationship. A lot of times there's people feel very strongly one way or another about it.
Imagine that. Imagine
I
the three of
know,
us having strong opinions about
opinions.
things. I think it's important to just take a step back and say, this is why it's important to talk to people who have experience with a wide variety of materials. If you go,
Yeah.
Yes.
if you as an owner, you go to the carpet and vinyl plank showroom, they're going to talk to you about those materials. As architects, we're going to talk to you about every single possible material that's out there. I have put LVP in projects because that was what the client wanted and that was the right answer for that moment. If you're asking me what I would put in my own house, it's going to be a different answer, right?
Sure.
So
sure.
I think that's why it's important to talk to someone who has a wide experience with a bunch of different things and not just like what's on sale at the showroom because the showroom person is pushing this on you or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Do you think that there are aesthetic style swings? I don't think flooring swings as quickly as some other things in our industry.
yeah, I mean, I would say that
So the colors. It's
Colors,
the stain
yeah.
colors. It's the stain colors that change.
Yeah, because we went from really dark and then to grays, and now we're back into more naturals.
what I hear from my clients a lot is they don't want their wood floors to look yellow.
Yes.
Because I think that a lot of oak floors, which oak is very common because it's hard and it's a good price and it's a great flooring material, the polyurethane is what yellows. So it's the coating on top. So we'll polyurethane floors. We always use water-based, whatever. We also will oil floors, not oil-based finish, but we oil it with furniture oil.
That is so beautiful.
I've only talked one client into it. I did it in my own house. I did it in my office space, partially because I want to show people what it looks like, because it is magical. And you don't shut down the job for 2 weeks to do it. You can literally walk on it like 8 hours later. So it's actually great for construction. But it's not for everyone, and kids and dogs and whatever like that. But wood is resilient. And so as long as you're caring for it right, it can be okay. So
Yeah,
that's my
agreed.
Thanks for joining us today on Home the Second Story for our quick snack. If you have any questions for us or topics you'd like us to cover, or if you're interested in being a guest, please reach out at admin@htssspodcast.com, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Home, the Second Story podcast. Feel free to share this episode with a friend. Contact information for all 3 of our architects are in our show notes. And don't miss future episodes. Follow or subscribe to our show for free in Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening right now.